Right, so pleasant good afternoon. Welcome to the NIBOSH National General Certificate. We are on chapter 2 of the course. Most of you have your textbooks. I don't believe there's anybody that does not have their book. If you have it, we are on chapter 2, 2.2, if you want to open it, and I'm going to read the objective here as well. Not a very long one, but a highly tested one, as we were just chatting off the recording there, as to what the past papers we were seeing as compared to what I was remembering. There were more past papers on the deeper parts of chapter 2 then, rather than the benefits of a formal management system, right? If you have your books, open it up. It's page 11 of chapter 2. So I would use it today. Now, the reason for, when I say use the book, I'll use the book today because the chapter is short, right? There's not, like, it's not to just keep on reading. No, it's not that kind of content today. It's a short chapter. If you want to see how short, go from page 11 to the end of the chapter, and that's page 17. So that means it's only 7 pages, isn't it? From page 2 of 11, if you have your textbook, from page making the management system work, the health and safety policy, that's page 211. And if you have your book, just try to go to the end of the chapter and you'll see just page 17. So it's not a long set of chapters or work anymore. However, past papers are here, right? Let's get to the objective. If you have your book, it's the same objective. I'll read it for you. I believe the objectives is the front, so we have to go back to the front of the book. You'll see page 1 of chapter 2. There were 2 objectives there. Same thing on this slide. Remember, don't confuse yourself too much. If you want to look at the slide, look at the slide. If you want to look at the book, look at the book, right? So the objective here, same thing in the textbook, same thing on the slide. Discuss the main ingredients of health and safety management system that makes it effective, general policy, organization, and arrangement, right? So with that said, let's go back to page 11, or you could look at page 11. I want to start the teaching, right? So from page 11, you'll notice that there's not too much information there, just it's like an introductory page. It does say introduction to health and safety policy, and maybe from last week, I'll ask a question. Anybody could remember. So what is the health and safety policy? Anybody remember? Well, two questions here. What it is, and where could you find it? Anybody can answer those questions. Like, what is a health and safety policy? What does it look like? And where do you find it? Anyone? Quick. Let's hear from. Have you seen it? This is last week class, right? I mean, we were spoken about that, right? Have you seen your health and safety? Okay, you don't need the textbook, folks. Remember the answers for the case study. It's not any book. Once you have the slide, you have the same information. That's the purpose of me going back and reading this here, 2.2. It's the same information in the book, same information on the slide, right? So, folks, when you get your book, if you don't have it yet, it's still not going to help you. The book doesn't have the answer. The case study have the answer. Remember, this exam is a bit different. The exam look different to the theory, right? One of the things you have to do is stop fooling yourself, right? The answers for the exam is in the case study. When they say what the manager did wrong, you're not going to find that in your book. You're not going to find that in the class notes either. I think I was telling you all this. There's a bit of a disconnect between the theory and the exam, right? So, if you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, use the slide. None of which would be 100% effective in the exam. What is effective in the exam is the case study, right? So you'll see, if you want what this lesson today, we're going to teach a lesson, how it is in the book, how it is in the slide. When you see the past paper, it's going to look totally different to that. It's going to be totally different to that, right? Tertiary education is different from secondary school. It's based on knowledge, but the knowledge itself is not being examined. What is being examined is the concepts, right? Remember, we spoke all about these things before. From time to time, you need to remember it, right? Or probably play back those videos. Remember, you're facing a reasoning-based exam, right? Not a knowledge-based exam, right? All right, we go in here now. Anybody can answer that. So what is the health and safety policy and what does it look like? Quickly, folks, if you're not answering, I'll actually end this session. It have 14 adults here, right? So before I start to call some names, right? What is the health and safety policy? Where could you find it?
That have to do with the aims?
Right, okay, but okay, give me an example because we wrote it down, or at least I thought you wrote it down. You said this is a disadvantage of Zoom. I wrote some on the slide last week. Could you give me like what does a policy sound like?
A plan,
Huh?
a plan, a do, a check, and an action.
Easier than that. That's a management system. It is an easy question asked, and you're very good. Shannon Mesa. Yeah, Shannon
Safety is
Mesa.
the number one priority.
Very good, Jessica. Yeah, so that's what a policy is. A policy is just like a statement. It's not a hard question asked, right? It's not NEBOSH. I mean, it's not NEBOSH exam. I wouldn't do that to you, right? Plus the hard exam, the exam question in the case study. So what is a safety policy? It's like saying safety is my first priority. Anybody remember the one I told you from Atlantic LNG or BP? I wrote that one on the slide.
We do a job safe or not at all.
Very good, right? So somebody taking notes, right? So it's a very good. Okay. Next question. Where could you find this policy? Where could you find that line? Safety is my first priority. Have you not been in the bank? Have you not been at
Policy statement?
Policy statement, very good. Have anybody been in the bank or you're traveling in a taxi? Where do you see it? Where do you see it? Where do you see that line? Safety is my first priority.
It is the first part of an introduction to any establishment.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
It's usually written on their PPE.
Very good, Akili. Very good. Yeah. So you can see it in the notice board and the coveralls, right? So yes, and getting back to PDCA, yes, the policy is a part of something bigger, which was last week class, the management system. But today we back on the policy itself. Like last week, the focus was on the management system, right? Today is on the policy itself, right? I haven't been around much companies this week to say if I saw any new ones, right? I'm doing consultancy for some companies, but the truth is the consultancy I'm doing is not like with the policy now. So I didn't really look at the policy. Perhaps when I go this week, I'll look at the notice board. Some people have some creative ones, like I have some written down. Some people have some creative ones, right? I think I told you if you know Tropical Express, I don't know if I told you that one. Tropical Express, they have something like they have something to do with Express in their policy, Express Health and Safety, or something like that. Express, Tropical Express. So they incorporated the word Express into their policy statement, right? Anyway, every company is different. If you see any interested ones, just take a note of it, right? So today's class, if you look to page 12 in your book, if not, just look right here, right? Just look right here with me and you'll see the same thing, right? So the first thing you'll see, I'm just gonna line this up, is there's a legal requirement for having a policy. If you have the book, it's the same thing you're looking at. It's the same thing we copy and we put on the slide, right? So having a policy is actually a requirement of Section 2.3 of the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. It says the employer shall prepare, give me a minute if somebody's coming in. Right, employer shall prepare a policy written if 5 or more employees and they need to revise it as necessary. The company must state the organization and arrangements of bringing the policy into effect. They must bring it to the attention of their employees, right? So that's nothing new. It's like you must have a policy and you must tell the employees about it, right? I have seen a case study, maybe you will see it just now because we're trying to get to our past paper, right? Where the case study said the company had a policy, but no one knew what it was. That's strange, eh? Like when in the case study now, it had like I think it was a HSE inspector asked the company for the policy, which they had. But when he questioned the employees, no one knew what it was, right? So the lawyer is saying your company need to have a policy. But like, why would you make it up and not share it? That doesn't make sense anyway. But once you have it, then you need to watch it. You need to bring it to the attention of the employees. In other words, if you work in BP, everybody knows BP safety policy. If you work in, CX, everybody knows CX policy. If you work in SIS, everybody should know because that's what you're seeing. It's in the coverall notice board when you open a document, it's supposed to be on it, etc. Right? So the first thing is that's a legal requirement, and folks, that's not an exam question because it's too easy. This slide says is another law. This stands for the management, MS Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations, 1999, Regulation 5. In summary, basically said you need to have a policy as well, right? They say must have arrangement for effective planning, organization, control, monitoring, and review of preventative and protective measures. The arrangements must be in writing once you have 5 or more employees, right? All right, so from here, what I want to do, I want to explain a bit for you all. I'll show you what I mean by that. I mean, because it's so easy, right? So if you want, just watch the slides a bit, and I would try to do a summary chart for you, right? So there's only one thing remaining to do in policy, which is the policy have 3 pieces. This is the first part of a policy. It's called the statement of intent. I don't know if you wanted to write it down, right? It's only 3 parts of the policy. And all you have to know today is what the 3 parts have in it. And that's it. So that's why it's finishing right in just about 7 pages afterwards, right? So there are 3 parts of a policy. I'll summarize it for you just now. So the first part is called the statement of intent. Another part of the policy, so this is statement of intent there. Well, once I tell you what it have in it, you'll understand it. There's no need to memorize all of this then, because once you say what the statement of intent is, you have to know what it is, right? The other part of the policy is called the organization. This is another part of the policy. It's only 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3. I'll write it up for you just now, just using the slides a bit, right? So the organization section, that would have the people in the company. You'd have like an org chart in it, right? And then the last piece of the policy is called arrangement. So this is actually number 3. I'll write it over for you just now, right? So once you know what the 3 pieces have in it, you notice the slides are finished and the textbook could also be finished as well. So let's take it back up to the first one though. The policy consists of 3 parts, right? So what I could do, I could use this slide if you all don't mind, and I don't know if you want to. I want to just draw a little summary chart for you to help you understand it, right? You see how it is in the book? They treat it as if it's 3 separate things now, but it is not 3 separate things, right? So if you have a page, 1 page is enough. I may just need some more space though, but 1 page is enough, right? If you have a small, I mean, not even a whole page, like a half a page. By the way, this is supposed to be a straight line. Do forgive the interruption there. The policy consists of 3 parts. So as I tell you, I'll do a summary chart for you. So on top here is like policy. Right? This is the policy. The policy consists of 3 parts. And all you have to do is understand what the 3 parts have in it. The first part is called a statement of intent. You can write any word because this was on the slide. I'll just put statement here. I can probably put intent if you want. And just leave about 3 lines under it, and I'll tell you what it have in it. Statement of intent. Daneshwari already said what it have in it, right? In answering the question I asked, he already said what it have in it. This is supposed to be OF. Statement of intent. Right? The other part of the policy is called organization. Spelled in the UK way, of course, ORGAN, SATION, that's how they spell, They replace the Z with the Z, organization. That's the second part of the policy. And the third part of a policy is called arrangements. So this summary chart then helps you to see it as what it is then. If you have your book, you see the book says there are 3 parts. So this summary, and they actually list the 3 parts right there as well, right? So this chart helps you to realize that it does consist of 3 parts. But the 3 parts of the policy, right? So when I finish, I want to show you what that means. Because you mightn't understand what it means. When I say what it means, like what it looks like then, right? So we have so remember Shadrach City is a registered tertiary level institute. So we have a policy as well. So your policy, what I'm trying to show you, your policy. Could I come off this slide a bit? In fact, no, let me just do it. I have it here too. I have a man holding up a folder too, Look, is it picture before that? Watch it here. Somebody holding a folder here. Look at here. Right? So a policy is like a folder. Remember, this is like, like if, okay, it don't have to be, it could be a book too, like a handbook like this. This is our school handbook. I don't know if you all have ever gotten this. I updated it. This is like our policy handbook. You see the student handbook? So like in this here, if you open this handbook, you'll see things on the school then, like the vision of the school, the vision statement of the school, the mission statement of the school, right? What I'm trying to show you is that for a company, it's the same thing now, like Proman, SIS, whatever company right? Do More Enterprises, right? Whatever company I'm just gonna hold this in my hands as we go to the class, right? So like every company would have like a folder that they call the policy folder. So you all understand that? So the policy, when I tell you what it looks like, it could look like anything like this. It could look like a real folder, or some companies, they do like a handbook. I actually have both, right? And when they say the policy have 3 parts, what does that really mean? Well, what I'm trying to show is that that is like the table of contents. In general, all policies, they say, like when you open, if this was, let's say this was which company you all know. So let's say, I'll just call it a state-owned company, right? So let's say this was WASA or TNTech, the TNTech HSC policy folder, right? When you open this, the first thing you're supposed to see is what is called the statement of intent. Now, this is not really, this is a school one. This is not really WASA one, right? This is not really TNTech one, right? So what you're supposed to see in any policy is the statement of intent. And when you turn those pages, the next thing you're going to see is called organization. And then the last thing you're going to see is called arrangements. So you all understand it? When they say a policy have 3 pieces, it's really 3 subheadings there. So don't get too confused, right? When they say a policy have 3 pieces or 3 sections or 3 parts, it's like when you finish with the first part and you turn the page, you'll see a heading called organization. When you finish that one and you turn the page, you'll see a heading called arrangement. And all our classes today, and here the thing, none of this comes for exam. Now, this does come, but not how you're seeing it here. So we need to finish this and get to see how it comes then. The core knowledge, and you think they're going to ask you, name 3 parts of a policy? No, they're not going to ask you that because it's too easy. I try to get you to understand it because there is a past paper here, but not how we're looking at it here. Remember, the thing is always comment. They're not going to ask you name 3 parts of the policy, but you all are new students, so they make sure you understand what you're looking at. A policy have 3 parts, but what does that really look like? It just is like 3 subheadings. Like if you go through my handbook, you'll see there's a thing on after the vision. Then this is the vision. After the vision, right? After the vision of the school. Let's see this next. I don't even know. I wrote this more than 10 years ago, right? We have courses offered. So that's what they're saying. And like after the statement of intent, you would see organization, blah, blah, blah. I think I get the point, right? So here the good news. The good news is we just have to see what these things have in it because it's an open book exam. By the way, can you all see this slide? Is it, yeah? I know sometimes like I all see in the diagram that I'm trying to construct as well. Okay, very good, Akili. Okay, good. All right.
Yes.
If it stops you, let me know, because you see how we close to the border up there. You see your screen sharing is paused. If you see something not moving and you hear me talking as if I'm looking at something, just let me know, right? So the statement of intent is actually the vision of the company. Like how I show you the school handbook. In every company, if you go to any company, state-owned, service, manufacturing, you probably see somewhere on the wall they have the vision statement. Mine is right up there on the wall. Those things up there that you looking like if something stuck up there, that's the vision of the company, the vision of Shadrach Safety, which I can't read from here, but I can read from the book here.
So that come the revision date.
The
Revision date for the year. Well, the revision for the year.
Yeah, the vision for the yeah, I mean the vision of a company don't really change. What they may do, they may just update it, but the vision of a company doesn't really change. Right?
Okay.
The vision, like this vision we have, it would have been for the last decade. This vision doesn't change anyway, right?
But if it's a lot of update, like you can revision
They will
one,
update. I mean, most of the time they will just sign it over and the CEO put his name on it. But most of the time the vision stays the same anyway, right? So like the line you always saying just now, safety is my first priority. That come like the vision for whatever company you're quoting it from, if it's Demas or SIS, right? The company that said like Atlantic then, okay, like Atlantic had that same vision. I know Atlantic more than 15 years now, right? So Atlantic is always, we will do the job safe or not at all. But for 2025, yes, they will take it down. They will sign it over and then they will date it. Think you understand that? So the
Yes.
vision contains what they say is the aims of the company, the objective of the company, or the goal of the company. That's another way of saying it. The aims consists of the statement of intent. Please take this down. Mama Terry have a question here, but it's not the core knowledge. I'll tell you the question when I finish the core knowledge. So the statement of intent contains the aims, the goals, the objectives of the company, right? And all we have to do is just kind of get about 3, because you just have to understand it, right? For the exam, for now, I don't want to go too much into it as yet because we have finished the core knowledge yet, right? For now, what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't have to really create the objectives. NEBOSH will give you it. They give you the objective. They give you the aim. They give you the vision, right? So anyway, before we get to the possible, so what could be some common aims of a company? I'll just give you 2 and maybe you could give me 1. But you'll be able to give me more than 1 because once you understand what it is, you see the aim is whatever you want to do. You could never get an aim wrong because it's what you want to do. So if a company wants to reduce accidents to 0, then that's their aim. They might not achieve it, but it's still an aim. It's a good aim, right? You want to reduce accidents to 0, right? I'll give you another one. Let me use one from last week, right? So the aim of the company, they want to be ISO certified, or in Trinidad and Tobago, you want to be STOO certified. That's your aim. You mightn't reach it. Again, if you have a good consultant, you probably would reach it. But you would reach it, I mean, if you have the resources and stuff, right? So the aim is accident reduction, to gain certification from ISO. So could you give me one? It cannot, aim is never wrong. Aim is what you want to do. Let me put this up here. The aim of a company is whatever the company want to do for 2025. Whatever is their aim, is their aim. You could never get it wrong. And that's why NEBOSH is not going to ask you to make up an aim. You just have to know your aim could come from you, but NEBOSH not going to let you do that. They're going to give you the aim because they don't want you to make up your own aims, right? They will give you the aims, right? I think one went in the chat. Okay, very good, Evangeline. Evangeline have potential. Evangeline, want to put a figure to it, 100% customer satisfaction. Even though that may not be possible, but it's a nice aim. Customer satisfaction. One more, folks. One more, because we're not going to be tested on making up the aim. They will give us the aims. And then I'll explain to you how the question comes, right? So customer satisfaction. One more for safety. Let me get safety. One more about the environment. What we want to do for the environment. What do you think we want to do for the environment? Mess it up or keep it, you know?
Excuse me,
Right.
sir. By chance, you
Spills,
writing anything on the screen other than the policy and statement of intent? Because I'm not seeing anything else.
What's the last thing you see it?
Just the policy, statement of intent, organization,
Serious?
and
I write the whole screen at work already.
Oh,
Let me just
really?
try to, yes. Okay, let me see how to share that now. Oh Lord. It disappeared. Just now, hold on, eh? But what I was saying, I was actually writing. So those that you heard me say it, I actually wrote it out.
Yeah, the statement was aim, goals, and objective.
Yeah, but I wrote out about 4. I wrote out 3 and I was asking you to give me one more.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think I lost this slide because when I came back, what slide are you all seeing now? The same slide or you're seeing the key
The
features and
same thing with
the
the policy, statement, organization.
you could still see that
Yeah.
with the chart on it?
That is all. And the manual.
But is the chart on it? Is it thing I was drawing on it or the chart
Yeah.
disappeared?
Yeah.
The chart is still on yours.
Yeah.
It's not on mine, enough. And I don't know where it went to because. But anyway, folks, I mean, could you all write down? I'll call them back for you under statement of intent. What I wrote out was the aim, goals, and objectives. And what was under that, I wrote out 3 of the aims now, which was to reduce accidents to 0. Another one was we had customer satisfaction to ensure 100% customers, is not in my view, 100% customer satisfaction. And another one was on, we can probably say to reduce environmental spills. I think that was the one that I was on when
Mentioned it to be ISO or 235.
right, okay, yes, to mention, yes. So ISO certification, right? On my view, it's no longer there. So I would have lost it, right? I would try to construct it back for you all and maybe alter what you have already, right? Can you see this one? This would be the key features and appropriate contents of an organized. Can you see that one? Okay, good. But I think we lost
Yeah.
the chart, right? But the point is there is that the statement of intent is the goal of the company now. So like you cannot get it wrong because anything you want to do becomes your goal. If you want, as I was telling you all, they're not going to test you to make it up. They're going to give it to you, right? But just a shout out some, I'll shout out 3 more. You don't have to write it. I'm just listening to it. Like if a company wanted to do training, that would be under the statement of intent, right? If they wanted to get defensive driving done, right? So
That's
to
right.
have, yeah, 10 workers training defensive driving, 3 workers training first aid, all of that, whatever you want is your statement of intent, right? Like even more safety things, like if you want 30 inspections for the month, you want 2 audits for the quarter, whatever you want becomes a statement of intent, right? So those of us with the book, if you watch page 13, and if you don't have the book, watch this slide because I put a whole bunch here, right? Those of us with the book, right? You could watch page 13. And you could just shout out some. You'll see they have things there like page 13, topic focus. Some of their aims was to meet legal obligation. Provision of a safe workplace, safe equipment, and safe systems of work. If you cast your eyes down on page 13, you'll see objectives and targets. And some objectives is the same one that we said, which was, if you check on the objectives, in bold, they have accident rates to achieve a reduction in the accident or ill health rate. See if you're seeing that, right? So just remember, they're not testing content, they're testing principle. The principle is that the policy consists of 3 pieces. Whatever form you have it in, a book or a folder. When you open your company policy, the first thing you'll start to see is like what your company commit to now. You see, like we committed to a safe workplace, safe working environment, providing PPE for you, making sure that again some deeper things maybe like the company is committed to ISO certification. So that part of it is called the statement of intent, right? Once you finish off that part of it, the next part that you're going to see is called the organization. So I'm gonna try back the chart again. Just let me see if I could find a slide that could give me some space, right? So the organization, now I have it here, so I'm kind of giving myself double work, but I kind of want to give myself double because I wanted to understand. Because the lesson is not really long, like the lesson finished right here, right? So I don't mind getting it to understand as opposed to reading. And if it's reading, we'll finish long time. But then you may not have understood everything that was read, right? So I just put in back a makeshift chart here. On top here supposed to be policy. The policy consists of 3 pieces, right? We kind of already said that the first part of the policy, the statement of intent, right? I just put S there. The statement of intent consists of like the aims of the company, the goals of the company, right? So the next piece is called organization. And if you want, just watch here, but it's the same. I'll read it from the book, I read it from the slide. It's the same thing. I'll tell you too. So you hear the information 3 places, plus I'm showing you on the slide. So there's 4 places, right? It's 4 times you're seeing and hearing the same thing. It's in the slide, it's in the book. It's on the thing here and I'm also seeing it. It's on this chart here, right? So the organization part of the policy, what that part of it have, it actually have the people. It actually have the people who will get it done. So what they refer to this part as is roles and responsibilities of the people. It have the people, after you said you wanted to reduce accidents, then it have the people who will get it done, like the HSE manager. After you said you wanted to get ISO certified, this part of it would actually designate it to a person. Watch it, roles and responsibilities. Roles, it would have the person name. It would have here, I was gonna use a real person name. Let me just kind of change the man name, right? I'll have, no, I actually went to a company and I saw one of my students, they had an org chart now. And in it, it had the person name. And I saw the name and I said, but that's one of my students. He's the safety manager of the company, right? Anyway, Darren is not his name. I just kind of changed it. It's actually not Darren, right? So it'd have Darren and it'd have here HSE manager. In other words, and I don't know if you understand it, they will try to match up what to be done. They're trying to match up what you had to get done with a who. Yeah, the organization tells you who is to do it. You see, if they didn't do that, anybody could guess what could happen if they did not do that? What do you think could happen if they did not? After you say, okay, let's pick an easy one. Let's pick an easy one, right? So one of the wants you had, or one of the what you had, one of the wants you wanted to get done, let's just say to do 10 persons in defensive driving. Why you think this is important to give it to Darren? Why you think they go the extra mile or in the document to say the person responsible for getting the person's training, defensive training is Darren? Why you think they went that far?
Because he is the guy who, after get it done, in order for the company to proceed with further works.
Okay. Anybody else? Why
Is he
bother
most
to give it a
qualified?
name? Huh? Say?
He's most qualified.
Yeah, it's okay. Is he most qualified? But
Is it for
why?
accountability
Very good.
purposes?
Yeah, the answer is accountability. So yeah, we'll say yes. So Joshua, Darren is qualified, right? I mean, you wouldn't be a safety if you don't have NEBOSH, whatever, right? But why bother put the man name on the thing or the woman name if somebody else, right? Deborah, right? So, like why bother put the name? You see, the name goes there is because in 3 months' time, the issue may come up with a manager. They say, look, we have this job to do. These are real things I'm telling you, but I have to change the defensive drive into confined space then, right? Like, we have a job to do, right? And we had predicted in January that we'll win the tender. Now, we said we would have trained, I have trained a lot of persons in confined space, hundreds in fact, right? So we said we'd have trained 50 persons in confined spaces for that job up at SIS. So where the workers on them? the company said, I'm just making up this situation, right? So the company says, well, we cannot remember you saying, the CEO they're talking to, right, that we had to get 50% trained. But the CEO said, well, bring the minutes of the meeting when we said it out in the policy, because we said it here. We said it that one of the wants we wanted, or the wants we wanted, was to get 50% trained in confined space. So the next question is what? The next question is, if it wasn't done, the next question is what? The next question is what? If it wasn't done, the next question is, help me, say it for me.
Who's supposed to do it?
Yeah, who's supposed to do it? Call Darren. Because look, the contractor waited. This is a real thing I'm telling you all now. Of course, the guy did this thing anyway. I'm just making up the bad part of it, right? So you say, Darren, you was given the, what was your word here? Roland?
Accountability.
Roland, you was given the responsibility to get 50% trained. So that is the reason why they give it to somebody, is that you can hold them accountable. Accountability, right? Those of us at the books, if you want to turn and read the line for you, it's the same line on top there. In fact, if you have your book, let me take it back. I'll take you back to page 12. If you don't have the book, just listen, because you already wrote what the statement of intent have in it. I'm going to read for you statement of intent, right? Listen to what the book says, a statement of intent. It says, they say here, under general statement, this is page 12 I'm reading from. If you have your book, follow. If not, you already wrote it down already. We already know it's the goals and stuff, right? So they have, this spells out the organization's overall approach to health and safety management and its stated aims and objectives. If anybody have the book, I wanted to help my reader. This is where those at the very top of the organization sets out their, what is the next word? We had it on the slide already. Other than aim and objective, what is another word I had? It sets out their vision for the organization. Let's forward to organization, because that's the part we're doing now, right? So you already know, you don't have to hear it 4 times, just hear it 1 time. The organization section have the roles and responsibilities of the people to get it done. Page 14. I tell you it's easy once I tell you. And the truth is, they're not even testing this. Like how I laid this out here, nobody asking you that. You think they're going to ask you, where's the, like, NEBOSH not going to ask you, where's the function of the organization? They're not going to ask it like that. But we had to cover content, right? Those of us in the book, page 14, are reading the first line. Listen to it. Listen to it. It's the same line there, right? This section of the health and safety policy deals with people. What is this word I wrote here? What is it? People. Deals with people and their operational duties in relation to health and safety. It outlines the chain of command for health and safety management and identifies the roles and responsibilities of staff. All that means, you're not going to ask it, all that means is that when you make up something to do, designate somebody to do it. It's kind of like you ever thought about, what if you wanted to do NEBOSH, but you never come to me then? You check up, you understand? What if you, okay, so that's your want. You want to do NEBOSH. You want to do NEBOSH. But who going and do it? Where you going to do it? Right? Whole year will come and go and you'll not do it. You have to contact a school. Somebody have to get it done. Right? So the organization section shows you the people. So that if you follow through my slides now, what I did, I gave a lot of people. What I have here? I have the people. I have managers and directors. These are the people who get the job done. HSE advisors doing risk assessments, health and safety representative responsible for representing employees, right? I have, give me a minute to change the slide. I have the role of line managers. None of this really coming. I just showing you how I put it now, where people, like, you'll see what the manager could do. The role of the line manager to report to the managing director, are responsible and accountable for health and safety, develop, for example, training plans that aid in fulfilling HSE goals, personally investigate all work days. NEBOSH not asking this. I just telling you, I'm trying to show you how everybody have something different to do now. What's the role of employees? Responsible for taking care of yourself and that of others. Was the role of a fire marshal responsible for the safe evacuation of staff in the event of an emergency drill? Was the role of a first aider responsible for administering first aid? Was the role of a supervisor responsible for checking day-to-day compliance and policy, of which they're not really going to answer that. But it's to understand that the organization section have the job position and it have like a person named that, right? So if there is a first aid incident, who is to attend to it? It's the first aider. If there was a fire, God forbid, in the dustbin, who was to attend to it? Jane, she's the fire marshal. It have the roles and responsibilities of the persons in the policy handbook. I suppose maybe that's why, if we go through the handbook here for the school, you'll see to have a part on lecturers, because after you say all that you say, after you say all that you say about school rules and this and this and this, well, who teaching the course? Right? Who is teaching the course? Where is your list of approved lecturers or whatever have you, right? Of which I can't find right now. But I think you get the point, right? The point is it have a table here with our lecturers, right? And what courses that they teach, etc. Right? SSI training venues, lecturers here, right? Yeah. So that's the point of that. So you understand, we are the last part of the, if you turn the page in the book now, you realize we on page 16 and it was only 17 pages. So we're almost there. I want to finish by 4 o'clock, so I'll show you a past paper now. Because remember, folks, knowledge without a past paper is not making sense, right? There is, before the pandemic, you know what people used to like before the pandemic? They would like this table. NEBOSH should actually ask you to draw the table, the same table I drawing here. And like, for you to give them 8 statements of intent, or for you to give them 8 persons who have rules to fulfill, but not anymore. They don't ask what is questions anymore. Your thing now is to comment. And I'll show you what I mean in a bit, right? There's one more to go. Could I take off out of space here, right? So I'll have to take off this chart and kind of draw it back with the emphasis now on arrangements. Could I take it off? If you were doing yours, you just sort of populate your branch, then this would have been your second branch, right? Take it off. Anybody on it? Anybody still on that? It wasn't much. It wasn't much I drew there anyway, right? So we could put back policy here and kind of give me some space. That 2 that would have gone there would have been, this would have been the statement of intent. This would have been organization. And now we in the arrangements, right? So remember, it's still one folder. Don't get lost. Don't get lost. Remember, it's still one folder we're looking at, right? And this folder, well, not this one, this is a school folder, but the folder that is safety would have had 3 sections in it. We already cover 1 section, we cover a second section. The last piece of the HSE folder now will have a heading that's called arrangements. Let's see what this is all about, right? Tell me when you're ready. This is actually easy, just like the rest of them. It's actually probably the easiest part. I mean, and all parts of them easy for me. So the arrangement, so the statement of intent said what you wanted to get done, or what was your wants, what you wanted to get done. The organization section said who was to get it done. And now the arrangement section tells you how they're going to get it done. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Right? So let's get back to Darren, right? So Darren, in this made-up example here that we used before, Darren was in charge of like defensive driving, right? Now, how would he really get it done? So the company said they wanted to get defensive driving. Darren was allotted the responsibility, but how are we going to get it done? Like, what are you really going to do? So what you may have to do, you'll have to call up a couple of centers wherever is doing defensive driving, or whatever training it is, risk assessment, first aid, whatever. Get a quotation, and that's the how. So the how is really the procedure for getting the thing done. In other words, then, let me say it another way. But write on the word procedure first, because procedure is the answer. That is the knowledge-based answer. The arrangement section have the procedures of the company. So that's the knowledge-based answer. PROC, oh, sorry, I left out the C, my mistake. Let me take that off. PROCEDURES. right? Procedures. I'm gonna start somewhere down here, right? So the arrangement section consists of the procedures that the company is going to use. In other words, and I wonder if you understand what I'm getting at. So to hire a trainer, Darren is going to have to use like the procedure for hiring a trainer then, right? Folks, you understand a bit? So even though he was given that responsibility, he cannot just bring in his friend. You're going to have to get the 3 quotations. And if you bring in your friend, you could get fired because they would say, well, I use in my example, something had happened to me, right? The trainer was Dexter. How Dexter reached Massey? If I am the HSC manager, how Dexter reached Massey to do training? And I never got anything to sign to approve Dexter. This is a real thing I'm telling you. Right? Folks understand? In life, then, okay, watch it again, right? So let's think of, you see how outer space here though. You see how I miss the whiteboard? I miss really teaching on a whiteboard. And no, Zoom has a whiteboard. But what happened? They updated. And I don't like how the update is. The update, I don't like the update to the whiteboard, right? So I'll try my best here for now. I don't know if I can try it again. I'll try it again maybe in a couple of minutes, right? But I don't like the new version of the whiteboard anyway, right? Anyway, so what I was saying, if we could think of something else to do, right? If we think of like, let's say the company wanted to get inspections done, or maybe something similar. Let's think of somebody everybody could relate to, but outer space again, right? Let me see what that whiteboard looks like if they are. It's not even coming up as an option. No, it's not even coming up as an option. Yeah, they did some updates to it recently. I used to use it all the time for classes, but the whiteboard is a bit of it's not coming up here. Let me see what's happening. No, it's not even on my options to share. Right? So I'll keep on this slide. What I could do though, I could find a slide with some more space on it. Let me try this. I could find a slide with some space on it, like maybe this slide, and I could do it here, right? So let's say we had another one. And I know you all understand it because it's that simple. Can you all see this slide though? I don't know why it's saying screen sharing is pause again. Let me just do that all over again. I want to make sure that you're looking at it at the same time, right? Can you see the slide that says next session? No?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, okay. So here what? I fit in this thing up here again. I think you all know it by now, right? So the policy consists of 3 pieces. I'll put PDF for policy, right? The first piece of this is called statement of intent. The other part is called organization. Even though it is a chart here, please remember that this is really headings on a folder, right? But I'm trying to show you, but like the purpose in the chart was to show you the connecting dots between them there. So if we say one of our statements of intent, I'm going to make up one here, was to do 2 fire drills for the year, right? Well, just one. If you have the space, please take it down. And just for you to understand, it's not really exam, right? So let's say the company has committed to 2 fire drills for the year, right? So that's what they said in their statement of intent, 2 fire drills for the year. We are going to give this back to the health and safety manager, which is Darren, right? Health and safety manager, HS manager, which we made up a name and we said that this is somebody called Darren, right? So so the part that we all know, because I think you understand these parts, is that what we're trying to say is that Darren have to follow the what? What is arrangement? What's another word for arrangement? What's the word we had here?
Responsibility.
Procedure.
Procedural.
No, responsibility was this one, organization, right? Yeah, so yes, we have to follow now the procedure for getting the fire drill done. You understand that, folks? Like the one I mentioned with Dexter before, like you couldn't just bring your friend in. You had to follow the company procedure for hiring a trainer. So what I'm saying, even though Darren have the responsibility, in the event of a fire then, right, he cannot tell you to go in a contrary place now to where the company policy is. If the company policy place is to get down to the muster point, let me just put muster point here, which is located to the front of the building, right? Darren have to follow that. You understand? This is the connection between us. So are you all seeing it? After you say what you want to do, you have to say who is going to do it. But the who now working for the company, you cannot do what you want in the people company, as we say in the Caribbean. Darren have to follow the procedure for getting to the muster point. Folks, you understand that? Yeah, let's do another one if you want, because we have the space. Pick something else. Something nice. Well, fire watches, fire drills and stuff is nice. We did trading already. What again could be a nice thing a company want to do? We talked
drill?
about, but this is the drill. This is drill. Fire drills is drill. I think what everybody could relate to. Now, I know some of you are not in safety in general, right? Well, something I guess we could all identify with like accidents, right? So like what we wanted to do was zero accidents. We had committed to that, zero accidents. Who is to do it again? Darren, HSE manager. But what I'm saying is like things like the accident investigation now, right? So there'll be a procedure for accident investigation, right? In other words, again, if something has happened, the person then cannot do what they want to do. They cannot get a copybook page. The company will have a form then. There'll be a procedure for the accident investigation. What happened it, the name of the person, what happened, where it happened, was the person carried, for, first aid, were they taken to the hospital? You could imagine, right? Let me just use that one. Let's just use the hospital thing, right? You could imagine if the company procedure had said, like, okay, like the person must be, the first person to inform is the CEO. And then you take them to the company doctor if it's nothing too serious, and then to the hospital. You can imagine what had happened if Darren now, it had an accident, nothing too serious. I'm going to do nothing too serious, right? So if something happened, and Darren took them straight to the hospital. Now, that may be the right thing to do, but it wasn't the procedure. The CEO could say, well, Darren, you're working here long enough, right? You should have informed me and then taken the person to the hospital or to the company doctor, because it didn't warrant going to the hospital, right? Massey wasn't that. Massey have their own doctors now, right? And if it's not life-threatening, and you can assess that, anybody can assess that. They could have said, well, Darren, we expect better than that from you. I mean, you working here 15 years now, and company policies at first thing you inform the CEO, and then you take them to the hospital. Oh, sorry, to the doctor, then to the hospital, right? The point is to follow the procedure. Let's use something simple. What about taking a day off? That would be the HR manager, right? So not too sure what that would have been in the policy here. Not too sure what that number would have fallen under, because I'm just making this up. I'm just showing you now, right? So imagine now you want a day off. The HR company policies apply 2 days before. Isn't that correct? But
That's
you
right.
come the day of it now, and you take the day off. So we say, well, where Frank? Let's use Frank, right? So where is Frank? Frank take a day off. He didn't call anybody, he didn't call in sick. Frank come to work the next day. We say, Frank, you did not follow what? You did not follow, what's the word? Procedure,
Procedures.
right? So that's what I'm showing you, right? You understand this, folks? So there's a connecting line then between what you want to do and who is to do it, and then how the person is going to get it done. You cannot just do your thing in the company unless it's your, and even though this is my company, I still have a policy. What do you think is this? This is actually policies for the company here, for Shadrach Safety. You feel it's a joke, huh? Watch. FSI first aid policy. Right? So even I cannot do my own thing. Right? Program approved, procedure. You can see those things, program approved procedure, right? So remember, every examination policy, right? I cannot do my own thing. Sorry, examination. I cannot do what I want to do. It have a procedure for it, right? So that's the same thing in the company. Folks, I'll stop there because I hope you understand it. In summary, we went too much in this thing and there's too much of content because the content don't come. But I hope you understand it, right? Where a policy, first of all, is like a book. Coming out of the book, you'll find a statement of intent, which would have in it like, we want to provide a safe place of work. We want to have 0 accidents. In the book, they will have who they gave that responsibility to, and then they'll have how the person is to carry it out. So if you do your own thing, you could get fired. But the company will have a list of procedures for getting things done. So if you get it done along the procedure, then everything should be okay with you, right? At the end of this, the last thing on the slide, if I could clean this now, and the last thing in your book is when do you review the policy? If you check your book, it's the same heading here. When do you review the policy? As I think Danish Rory had said, or I think another student had said, the policy can be reviewed every year, right? But you have
Yes, I
other
think it's
times
better
you could
revise it.
say it again.
I think it's better revise it. All right. So like today
Yeah, it have a review date on it. Yeah, yeah. Even if you watch mine, I mean, I show you mine on screen, right? But even mine, right? So like now, so this is the hard copy. You're not seeing the soft copy of this, right? We have updated the soft copy, right? So, but you'll see it stamped, you'll see it dated, right? And we have updated ours. The one that I have, this is updated to 2028, right? So the one I have here, this is like an old version of it. But if you look at it carefully, you would see it's stamped and it dated, right? You'll see like a date here. But if you want, I could send you, but I can't send them a company book, right? But the student handbook have been updated until 2020. These have been updated on soft copy until 2028, right? So
all right, but I believe company policy is be valid for a year.
yeah, well, the truth is you set your own time frame.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it's a good idea to review it every year. In fact, the UK, if you read this, you see every 3 years, when it's time annual, every 3 years. So we work with the accreditation council, as you all know, ACTT is over tertiary schools. We run the school and we run the company like a school. The school is registered as a tertiary level institute through ACTT. So they gave us 3 years then. So therefore, all our documents will tend to reflect 3 years. Now, it's not as if they automatically give you 3 years just to let you know. 3 years is if you do really good in your audit, right? So there are schools that get 2 years. I know of schools that got 6 months, bigger schools than me. Roy Tech, I don't know if they're wrong still, school of whatever. You know Roy Tech? Anybody know Roy Tech? 6 months.
Yes, it's still around.
Yeah, when I was in UE, sometimes UE will get, sometimes they let these things fall and they're not accredited at all. But UE have brand now, right? But they have a brand name. But like bigger schools than me, I sometimes see them get 2 years. We have always been getting 3 years. So that's what our documents from last year that would reflect, like a 3-year time span anyway, right? Anyway, but when to review, whenever you have a technological change, organizational or legal change, maybe if you do an audit and they realize, well, you need to change something, the auditor will tell you, well, you could update this, etc. Change in key personnel, example, if I hire more young persons, if your company would have gotten a fine, an enforcement action from the HSE, which is the last chapter we did, £20,000 and stuff in the UK, then that's like a trigger point to tell you, well, if you're getting a fine, something is still kind of wrong, then you need to update your policy, right? Folks, finally, this is the thing with NEBOSH, right? We have to drag through the theory, but then we could look at an exam paper, right? As I said, I have been teaching since about 7:45. Let me just get a sip of water here, and I'm gonna try to bring up our past paper for you all. I have to figure where I have it, right? I saw in looking, remember studying, I was looking for the one for you, and I didn't find it. But in looking for that one, I found so many others on a deeper part of the of policy then. So I got those questions. But in the week I was telling you all, I didn't see, I didn't feel right then sending it to you all just now. I didn't feel right sending the question, the deeper parts of policy, knowing that we didn't do the work as yet, right? So that's why when you all ask, I know some people call me and ask if you all got an assignment, and I said no, because at least what I was seeing wasn't what was available, right? I got a folder, just want to see which folder, put it in the folder now. Give me a minute, right? The thing is, I'm seeing back now all of the old ones now. Let me check back at my, and the funny thing is, right, I did use it. That's when you have a ton of information in one place anyway, right? What made it harder, I told you, is how I lost my stuff. A lot of this stuff to recap now is where I would have actually had it in the first place, right? It's like all new folders that I had to create, so I'm not familiar with them in that sense, right? So let me just log off a bit. I'm gonna come off a bit and see if I find it, and then I'll come back. I'm not logging off, I'm just gonna take up the camera, but it's a bit difficult knowing that you all are there and trying to concentrate on it at the same time, right? Let me try and see if I can find it, and then I'll come back on the live. As I said, it's just to kind of maneuver through those folders, right? So I did get it. What happened again? You remember? For those of us who know, right? Zoom. As I finish one class, I have another one, and we normally have to. This share screen doesn't share all the stuff I have for three classes, then, right? I all seen in your background policy implementation. Okay, good, right? So now this question has come more than once, right? Now, when I said this question, it has come like this is not the only part. As I said, like when I was looking for the policy question, I kept seeing a question like this then, right? So what you're seeing here, right? What I was telling you, like you did not have to make up the statement of intent. Look, they give you it here. Watch it here. The health and safety advisor checked if the general policy statement of health and safety was adequate. The statement includes the following. So look, they give you it. As I was telling you, all that theory, right? They give you it. So the company here, a company called CBOX, who see the passive budget, but this one I'll give you for the week, right? I'll give you this one, right, to do this week. But we could kind of probably get about it's 10 past 4. By the way, chapter 2 is finished. right? So we could get about 5 answers for this before we finish, before no 1/2 then, right? So the company policy statement of intent, to the best of our ability, we commit to preventing accidents, injury, and ill health. They're actually given here. That's us telling you. There was no need to learn it. There's no need to look in your book, right? You look at the case study. Investigating accidents and near misses. Providing safe and healthy working conditions. Providing safe plans and equipment. Meeting legal requirements. Consulting workers. Provision of resources required to make this policy and arrangement effective. So listen to the question. Listen to the question. So if they give you, then what you had to do? What you have to do if they give you? Because they give you, they tell you is the statement of intent, right? So they ask now, how has this policy not been implemented? Your answer must be based on the textbook only. Yeah? What does it say? Your answers must be based on what?
Scenario.
Scenario only. Sad. After all that theory, after all the things you learn, the question answers right here. I've told you that many times before, right? Your exam is an easy exam. So let's try to think about it. Anybody could figure out what you have to do. The first thing to look at is to look at the number of marks. So we see it's 15 marks, which means you're going to get 15 answers. You can check this. We don't have 15. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how are we going to get 15 if they only give us 7 statements of intent, right? So we're still thinking that we're just watching the data. We have 7 statements of intent. And they say, how has this policy not been implemented? We had to get 15, but they only give us 7. My first question is, how could you get 15 if they only give you 7? What do you think you have to do?
Break it up.
Very good.
Break
Whoever
up the
said it,
points.
yes. So Maria, very good. You had to break it up. Like you see, we have a comma here. So you had to go into the case study and see. They say, how has the policy not been implemented? So you have to say, remember how the answers go? Folks, write it down there because I'm going to the case study just now. I just writing a little answer plan for you here. Remember what you have to do to get an answer. You have to give your opinion, right? I put in here, I'm just going to put your views, right? So you're going to say something like, in my view, the policy has not been, or they didn't ask you to decide because they already said it's not been implemented. You see, if they had said comment, that's why I didn't put comment. Comment means your views, but they didn't even ask for your views. They already tell you it's not been implemented. All you had to go and do is prove it. Folks, that's how easy your exam is. All you have to do is say, in my view, the company commitment to prevent an accident is not implemented. This is seen where, and you just take a line from the case study. How hard is that? If you have kids, if you have nieces, nephews in primary school, and you give them this to do, they could do it. Because this is a comprehension. Tell me what you think of what I just said here. I'll say it again. If you have kids in standard 5, standard 4, if you have nieces, nephews, form 1, form 2, you can give them this to do. Just so they tell them what they have to. Just tell them, go and look for the answers in the case study. Just go and see where this here is not being met. They already said not, so you didn't have to decide. And those kids will do it for you. I show you how easy NEBOSH is. Right? So yes, Sumaria, you have to break it up. And another one, you can say where you can say they did not prevent injuries and ill health. And then where you come down here too, you could break some of these up. And then some of it, folks, you will have to repeat. There's no other way to get 15. You could start, I would start with it like in order. Like if I was doing this, I would do it in chronological order. So if you want, just kind of keep 2 in mind. Just keep prevent accidents, investigating accidents, and just keep those 2 in mind and just go and try to see if we could find them. We already know the first line. The first line is, in my view, the company policy to report an accident is not being implemented. Remember, they didn't give you a comment. Comment means to say if you thought it was being implemented, but they already said not. So all you doing is saying, in my view, the company policy with regards to prevent an accident or investigating accidents or meeting legal requirement is not being met. Folks, how hard is that? That's not hard. What is hard is going to try to find it. But I wouldn't say hard, it will just take some time. So could we keep 3 in mind? Because when I go up there, I don't want to scroll down back, right? Let's keep 3 in mind. Let's keep prevent accidents, investigate accidents, meet legal. What about consultant workers? We could keep some in mind. So that's why I said it. So when you go up to the case study, you will see. Now, what I advise the day for the exam is that you all print the paper. So you don't have to keep doing the scrolling up and scrolling down now. Print the paper in your hand. So you have it in your hand. So you could just read it with a pencil. Right? One of your secret weapons here. You read it with a pencil and you avoid the scrolling up, scrolling down, scrolling up, scrolling down kind of thing, right? So let's go. Let's see how easy. So you see what I tell you about the book, folks? I know you all don't believe me, but hopefully you do, because you know how you're going to fail? You're going to fail if you rewrite what's in your textbook. Number one, they will catch you for plagiarism. You're going to fail if you rewrite what I have on my slide. Number one, again, they're going to catch you for plagiarism because copying from the slides is plagiarizing. Did not accent you that. The accent you use this here and compare it with the case. So it's a kind of compare and contrast. But we already know, right? Again, you ask any school child to do, you're comparing what you see here to your case study. That's all you're doing. Okay, folks, I'm taking that off because I'm going up. I want us to probably get about 3 answers before we leave, right?
So before I go, I checked 13 answers here. 2
You
missing.
checked 13 already?
Yeah.
Very good. I'm proud of you. Very good. 2 more, right? Yeah, very good. Monday, I would assign this question for you all for homework, right? But I'm showing you folks, I told you earlier, Osmond, Kenny, folks, Nibosh not hard anymore. It had if you sidetrack yourself. You sidetrack, and then when you sidetrack yourself with the textbook and all this note and thing, now we have to teach because it have a syllabus. But remember what I tell it, have a disconnect between the syllabus and the exam. Right, Stephen? Akili, Jessica, try to wake up, right? Mark Luchan. Okay, let's go now. Here it's about 70 minutes past 4, so I wouldn't be able to read all, but I could read some. You see, here would make it easy too, right? The case study actually have a heading. Watch it. The factory building. So you could just zone down on the part that have the accident. Watch it. Health and safety review. Watch it. The paper guillotine accident. You can just zone down right here. But I'll read it up, right? I'll read it up for you, right? Just to get an introduction of what's happening here, right? So you are the newly, by the way, are you all seeing the top of the thing? Next thing you see, you're seeing it, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you are the newly employed health and safety advisor for a packaging manufacturer, C-Box Packaging. Sorry, my mistake. Let me read over. You are the newly employed health and safety advisor for a packaging manufacturer. C-Box Packaging turns large reels of paper into cardboard packaging materials and boxes. At your job interview, you were impressed by the interviewer who promoted the organization's good health and safety practices. You had heard negative rumors about the organization being dangerous, but the interviewer assured you that these rumors were untrue. Right. The interviewer told you that the workforce has increased from 5 workers to 125 workers in the 30 years since the organization was founded. This includes 3 directors, a managing director, a production manager, a production supervisor for each work area, and the factory workers. Agency workers, temporary workers, contracted through an employment agency form 30% of the factory workers. Now, this is proving my point. You don't have to read all of this. We are trying to get the thing about the policy. So you could just zone down the part on the policy, right? Folks, passing an exam is about technique, right? It's good to read the whole thing, but if you really want the answer, you could just go to the thing on the policy, right? C-Box Packaging is based in 2 factory buildings located just outside of a busy city center. These buildings are on opposite sides of the city main road. So 2 factories, opposite side of a busy road, right? And workers, factory vehicles, and materials move between these buildings frequently throughout the day. That's a kind of bad thing, but they didn't really access that. in that question we are on something on policy. So let's see if we can find that. We are on, let's think about what they're saying. They said they wanted to prevent accident, they wanted to investigate accident, they want to consult with workers, they meeting legal requirements. So that's what we need to focus on. So you think you understand that? With every question you do, you have to focus on the part of the case study that is relevant to that part then, right? So here what I would do, I want to go down to see what happened in the accident and if they did investigate it, right? Because of my time to it's 4:20 now. Okay, I see something here about consultation, so I'll stop. I'll stop, right? And that's why you need to print the paper. Who is the PM? PM is production manager, right? I saw something here, right? I saw something here. So the production manager explains that they are responsible for overseeing the general risk assessment completed by an external health and safety consultant. They say that they always read through the risk assessment and try to put corrective actions and improvements in place in line with recommendations. However, this morning, they found out that the MD had rejected another one of their improvements. Right? So the production manager, making improvements, but I guess the manager and director not taking them, right? This was a request to buy new stapling guns that do not use compressed air. You ask why it was rejected, and the PM replies, the production manager replies, the manager and director never wants to invest in anything. Last time they rejected getting new safety guards because of the cost. Now, if you come down here back to the thing, then this is the question, right? But I saw an answer. Watch it here, right? Which one? Tell me which one. Which one would you link that with?
Is it
I'll give you-
providing safe plant and equipment?
Okay, yeah, that could be one. But it have a better one. I'll give you a clue.
Provision of resources.
Provision of resources. How could you tell me NEBOSH is hard? You just saying, in my view, the policy has not been implemented with respect to the provision of resources to make this policy and arrangement effective. This is seen in the case study where it was mentioned. The PM, you'll have to read it again to get the whole gist of it, right? But some staple guns was requested, and that was turned down because the manager, the director never wants to invest in anything. So it's contrary then to the fact that they are saying they're going to provide resources. Right? Think you understand that? And you're good, you could just go to another point. It's 15 you have to get. Let's go again. The PM then returns to their office. You find a group of factory workers and ask them how they feel about the PM talking to them during the inspection. Most of the workers appeared annoyed. Let's go down again. Tell me which one. And then tell me if NEBOSH is hard. Which one? Which one are you linking that to? The workers, are we talking about talking and workers being annoyed? Which one is that? I'll give you a clue. It starts with C.
It's consulting the workers.
Consultant. So you just said, in my view, the policy at C-Box is not being implemented with respect to consultant workers. This is mentioned in the case study where it was said, and you come back and you quote what is happening up here. Right? You come back and you say that, with respect to talking to workers, that's what I lost the point. But when you have it printed out, you'll see now, right? Where it was mentioned that, help me somebody. Where it was mentioned that, look at right there, right? That most of the workers appeared annoyed when they explained that they used to participate. But now they do not see any point in contributing, but then you say you're consulting with the workers. One of them says, why should we care about management? Management always ignores our concerns. This is why they said it's so easy. NEBOSH is easier than you think. What makes it hard is this. Right? I don't know if you understand that. Sorry to say it like that, right? I know most people don't, most people have a problem with me saying that. But if you want to pass, you have to understand what I want you to do. You're not regurgitating from your textbook. You're just doing a comprehension. I can't even truck passing outside. Just give me a minute. I know you're might hear. Zoom has a filter. Doesn't sound like carnival though. Because it's Chutney music. It could be a big wedding or something. This is probably supposed anyway. All right, let's try to get another one. Let's try to because remember I have one. Say it. I mean, you all mightn't hear it, but the noise is here. So I'm in the room with it then. Well, it's out in the road, in the office is by the road here. So we know it have one with accidents because remember accidents is ahead, and so we could get three. Watch it here, right? It have more as you scrape through the lines with your pencil, right? You will find them all. It's like a game. It's like hide and seek. They hide all the answers inside here. Not in your textbook, folks. It's right here. Let's see what happened here, right? Now, remember, there were two things about accidents. I think preventing accidents and investigating accidents. Anybody, any questions for me? No? Okay, I'm going to try to zone down a bit on it. Okay, maybe the first paragraph, and we can pick up somewhere in the middle, right? The injured agency worker X is currently unable to work and is at their home. So you arrange to visit them. When you meet worker X, you ask them to describe what happened. They do not speak the local language. And you and worker X have difficulty understanding each other at times during your conversation. Now, you could still use that again for consultation. Folks, you agree to that? Remember, you had to double up on some of the answers, right? You could use it again. You can say, in my view, CBOX was not meeting their commitment to consult with workers because worker X was of a different language, dialect. So proper communication should have been, met out to him. Proper communication should have been given to him, right? Watch it here. Worker X explained that they were shown how to use a paper guillotine on the morning of the accident by another worker who rushed through the training. You could try to link that to something, right? I was trying to see what happened with the accident if they were really investigating it, right? Just to tie that point, because remember, we know that's a point.
There was an
Is that going
investigator.
to- Huh?
There was an investigator cooperating to investigate.
Okay, at which line you on so you can save us the time? Which paragraph? I pass it?
Yeah, pass it. I was given through what.
Yeah.
So hard to find.
Yeah, let me see.
Go back up.
Go back up. For accident or investigation? But you see, this is what is take the time, right?
Yeah.
So this is what, if you wonder what is taking whole day to do the open book exam, is this.
I think it was
Not
higher up. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. But I saw something to the bottom. Watch something. I saw something here. Watch it, right? By the end of the first week, you are disappointed to find that the impression of the organization given during your job interview does not reflect the true culture of the business. CBOX Packaging recognizes a trade union, and there are two safety representatives on site, one for each factory building. The trade union and safety representatives requested a health and safety committee to be set up, and one meeting was held 18 months ago. You could use this again for consultation, right? But this was the only meeting held, and it did not result in any action being taken. The MD was too busy to attend, right? So you write your summary accident investigation report and the results of your internal review, which you provide to the MD and other directors. To your surprise, they are willing to listen, support your recommendation, and improve health and safety standards on site and formalize their approach to managing health and safety performance. Afterwards, you find out the organization and the MD are being prosecuted by the health and safety executive. I suppose that's why they were intrigued there to listen anyway, right? Anyway, this line does not really support this here, so we cannot use it. Did you all see that? I was looking for something to say that they did not do accident investigation. But that last line said they did do an accident investigation. Now, we cannot go that way because the question said, how was the policy not implemented? So we have to go back up to find another line, which I'll leave for you to do because it's 429, right? I'll leave that for you to do. Something here that suggests that some investigation was not being done, right? If you see it, you see it. If not, well, that is the thing that takes the time to find the needle in the haystack then, right? But we couldn't use the last line because the last line was saying that he did do a report, but we don't want that because the question already assumed that they were not doing an investigation. So somewhere here have something like that where they were not doing an investigation or something to that effect anyway, right? tell me what you think. I am done. My voice is tired, but I am done for today. Also, chapter 1 is also done. Chapter 1 is also done. Sorry, chapter 2, my mistake. Chapter 2 is also done. Any comments? If you want, I can do a quick review with you all and then I'll call the roll. So let me just hit some questions and see if you all could give me some answers. Give me a minute to get your register here, right? So see if you can answer. I'm just gonna answer about 3 quick fire questions. Of course, we actually dealt with much more detail than quick fire questions. You know, we dealt with a real passive question, right? Let me just ask about 3 or 4 questions, right? Anybody could answer. How many pieces does a policy have?
3.
3.
Could you name one piece of the health and safety policy?
Statement of
Arrangement.
Okay, arrangement, correct. Statement of intent is one more.
Organization.
Organization.
Very good. Okay, let's get another. Asking you 3 questions. I thought about more than 3, right? Is having a policy a legal requirement?
Yes.
Yes. And you could open the book if they ask you that, because there's actually section 2.3 of the HSW Act, but it's an open book test, no need to cram that, right? Okay, see if you answer this question, right? What part of the policy consists of procedures, like procedures for doing a risk assessment, procedures for training? What part of the policy consists of that part of it?
Arrangement.
Arrangement.
Very good. Very good.
Arrangement.
Very good. Excellent. Last question for the evening. And these are just class questions, right? What part of the policy will contain the aims, objectives, and vision of the company?
Statement of intent.
Statement.
Statement of intent. Okay, very good, folks. Well done. Let me get the rule, right? So I'm going to stop the share a bit. Like I said, I think we did more than that. So next week, imagine this, next week starts chapter 3. Chapter 3 is your last big chapter. After chapter 3 is chapter 4, and chapter 4, folks, is short, just like chapter 2, right? I'm going to get your names from the list here, and that's the easiest thing to do. Danish Wari, once you hear your name, you can leave. Yeah. Afras. You can say present, and then you can leave.
Yeah, present.
Okay, right. Shannon Mason.
Present, sir.
Thanks very much. And then Joshua Ram. I know you're also present. Yeah. Akili Wilson.
Present.
I know you all are here. Got taking it from the list, man, so that we wasting the time, right? Evangeline. Okay,
Present.
all that's there, Evangeline. Hi. Javan Burke.
Present, sir.
Thanks very much, Javan. Jessica Johnson.
Present.
Thanks very much, Jessica. Sumaria again, thanks for taking part in
Present.
today's class, yeah. Mark Lochan.
Present.
Thanks very much, Mark. Osman. Philip with 1 L.
Present.
Yeah.
Yeah, present.
Kenny Payne. Yeah.
Present.
All right, thanks, Kenrick. Ria Samuel.
Is here.
Thanks very much, Ria. Stephen.
Present, sir. Stefan.
Stefan. Sharon. My mistake, Stefan. Whitney.
Present, sir.
And I don't think there's anybody else. Is anybody else on the live? I already have Whitney on. So it was 15 of you all today, right? So that's the easiest way to make it go, right? Folks, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Look out Monday though for the 2 of us to send, the assignment to you all anyway. Yeah.
One thing
So-
concerning the corrections to the previous assignment. I saw you made some comments, right? To the end of some, you just put an X. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, or it means
Those are probably wrong, yeah. And they're like there was no way to save them then. So then they would have been exactly.
that one. Then what was the reason in terms of
Yeah. Sometimes if you look at the bottom, the X may mean the same as the others then. Like the others, if it had a comment to say it was missing a line or something, did it have a
you said
supporting line?
You said I needed to refer to the scenario. Right. Does it mean that I have to quote the paragraph and line
The line,
number
the
two,
line,
paragraph.
just the line, not really the paragraph. Just say like as seen in the case, like the one we just did, as seen in the case study where it was mentioned, you did like the MD, did not provide resources. You could just quote the exact line itself.
So say like line 21 or like line
No,
12,
there's no need to do that. There's no need to say line 21 and thing. You can just quote it because
put it in
the
inverted
examiner wouldn't
commas.
really be, yeah, they wouldn't really check line 21, but they would just want to see like you're making reference to the quote from the case study.
Because
Right,
I
so
was
the-
wondering, yeah, if it is like with reference to he did not search the locker room or so, as mentioned in the scenario. That's
Yeah, it just say, as mentioned in the scenario, the person did not search the locker room, and there's no need to put line 21. You could actually put it direct quotations if you want. You could quote the exact line. We could
You put it in
incorporate it
inverted
into your
commas.
sentence. Yeah, you can put it in inverted commas if you want. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, good.
Nice.
All right. All the
Yeah.
best, Osman. Okay, bye.
Bless you, man.
Same
Bye.
to you. Same to you.